Hey, what's good, people? It's your boy LJ Mentor. If you ever thought about starting a podcast, may not know where to go, you might think it's hard to do. That's actually not true. I got the perfect place for you to start. You can go with Anchor. It's free, it's very simple to use, has all the creation tools you could possibly need, and it could distribute your podcast for you across many podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You trying to get paid, right? Well, you don't have to have any minimum listeners, and podcasts can make money for you. You got something to talk about. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Just download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Yo, what's good, people? We back at it. Back in here once again for another episode of the What's the Word with LJ Mentor podcast. As always, I'm your host with the most, LJ Mentor. Back in here for another episode number 31. Getting close to the end of the year. It's December, and everybody already knows it's been a wild year, but we keeping it going. And so, been some interesting things happen this past week that I'm gonna get into. But let me start off with this. Now we see, obviously, we got a lot of businesses closing back up around the country because of the COVID numbers going back up, and it's been real crazy. I mean, I had it, so I've been mostly staying out the way. I mean, I run errands and shit, and um, to get things done and all that. But yeah, I've been trying to stay out the way, just focusing on my business, on my grind, and just staying out the way for the most part. Um, and this year should have taught a lot of people. I think a few things, but one word that stands out. So we're gonna get into my word of the week. After I address this point about, like I said, businesses closing back up. I know people want to get outside. People want to get in the gym, and people buying, working out from home now. You go in the stores, and I tried to get me some new weights, and them shit is sold out everywhere. That shit crazy. Um, so I think the key right now is just really pay attention to your surroundings and pay attention to what's going on. And don't be nasty, people. Like, you should be washing your hands anyway to avoid it, because there's been the flu has been around, and the common cold has been around, and people using hand sanitizer like crazy now, and I think people should have been on that, not over usage of hand sanitizer, but just constantly wash your hands and just don't be nasty. That's the main thing. Um, but yeah, just looking at how this whole year played out, it I know people antsy to get outside and just be out, because a lot of y'all already know y'all can't stand being in the house, and it's really forced everybody to sit your ass down and be humble for one. Be humble if you haven't been humble, and be appreciative of what you got, who you got in your life, and all of that. So, my word of the week is patience, and I think it's real important to develop patience. And I think, and I don't know who believes in God out there, whatever your faith is, but I'm a firm believer in God. And I think when you ask for God, when you pray for something, you can't pray and worry, right? Despite the circumstances, I know it could be hard. But the point I'm trying to get at is pray for something, and sometimes it might happen right away, or it might take a long time to come. But if you really believe, I believe it's gonna happen. And it requires patience. Just like this year we going through right now. We gotta really, it's teaching us everybody to be patient. Whether that's patient if you want to get back outside to do whatever you was doing before, patience to your business ventures. It might be stagnant right now. It's forcing us to try new things, and patient. We got to be patient with our grind, patient with activities we want to do. It's really forcing us to really sit our asses down and develop um, some patience and discipline, because we really gotta come together as people. We gotta help each other out here. It's hard enough in this world, and we gotta really come together and help each other out at the end of the day. It don't gotta be the biggest thing in the world. Just as long as you help somebody, whether it's in your family, help a stranger, I think that's really what it's forcing us to do. If you haven't been already, some of us have been doing this anyway, as far as helping people out or developing patience, and it's really, you got no choice but to be disciplined to uh, really sit down and really pay attention to your, like I said, surroundings, and going from there, because I got some things in the works right now, and I know I got to be patient with them. And it's sometimes it could be frustrating, sometimes it could be hard. And I've even had different conversations of different entrepreneurs that I know. Sometimes you get sad and lonely, but you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing and working at it, no matter how hard it can get. That's where the prayer come in, just because God got you at the end of the day. And it can be real tough and difficult. Some nights you really wondering if it's the right thing to do. I know that's the case with a lot of people. It's one thing, even the most confident people that I know, sometimes, you include myself, a lot of people look at me as a strong person. I consider myself a strong person, but at times I can get down and frustrated, and that's when your mental come in, how strong your mental is in the toughest of times. And it's sometimes it can be real difficult to really keep going. Sometimes you want to give up, but you can't. I ain't never been no quitter, and I'm not gonna give up on things that I want to get to. And I encourage everybody listening: don't ever give up on whatever you're going. Whether that's finding a job, whether that's with your business, whether that's you needing a job until your business takes off. Do what you got to do. Don't be afraid to take a job until you get to where you want to be. That's the goal. You can't get it twisted. Whatever your dreams are, I don't care what they are. Um, Even if you got to take any type of job until you get to something better, that's what we got to do. I've had to do it um, in the past before, but yeah, we got to do what we got to do to survive, and it requires patience, which I know is hard for a lot of people, and it's damn sure hard for me. Developing patience, because if you feel like something not working out, and but I'm a type of person. I've always believed in the glass half full, not instead of the half empty. That's a debate that will go on for the end of the time. But yeah, I'm a glass half full guy, and I believe in being optimistic despite circumstances. Even if you gotta go cry for a minute, don't be afraid to cry either. It don't make you soft if you're a man and cry. Like seriously, if you got something rough going on, don't be afraid to do that. I mean, it don't make you a punk. It don't. But the thing is, don't stay that way. Don't be sad or frustrated or angry. Don't be pissed off at the world. Do what you got to do. Take some time to yourself. Do something you do that don't stress you out. Just take some time for yourself and get it together and keep it moving. Because sometimes everybody I think, need time to really process things, and before they can get back to grinding. But just keep your composure, and we gotta have emotional intelligence out here. That's the thing. And sometimes I'm guilty of not doing that. Been times where I haven't been emotionally intelligent, but as I'm getting older now, I'm wiser. Being in my early 30s now, um, it's something we got to develop. Is I know I definitely have to develop emotional intelligence, and that's all deal with back to the word of the week is patience, and we got to be disciplined out here. And I just hope everybody is developing patience. Maybe maybe your thing has worked out already, and you trying to move on to the next thing. Either and that is people that's doing that too, despite this pandemic. This might be a little more annoying because we have to do things more virtual now. Um, but yeah, it's it's a tough time, and we're gonna get through this shit. Despite whoever was the hell in office, whether it's Trump, Biden, whoever, we can't rely on no damn politician to get us through life. At the end of the day, that's why it requires patience. And but now let's talk about using this time. We got to use this time wisely, right? This time we've had during this pandemic. I've talked about this previous episodes. Use your time wisely, right? We got to use our time to better ourselves, um, and don't be a person saying, "Oh, I'm perfect." I don't need. Everybody can improve. That's why this time I think has humbled everybody. It should have humbled everybody. No matter where you come from, whether you come from the nicest neighborhood in the world, or you come from the most gutterous place in the grimiest hood of all time, no matter what place you come from, this shit should have humbled the hell out of you. And we need to use this time to better ourselves. Um, really figure out, not that it's something wrong with you, but how can you, going forward, be a better person or be a better person to society, better person for your family, better person for the world. And you just got to find that out. Um, I think the key to doing that is you got to really think out. That's why it's good to try different things. To figure out what's right, figure out something you like, something you stick, whether it's a hobby, something, a new business venture you want to get into. And but yeah, that goes into you got to have patience for that too. Starting something new or continue in new ways where you can thrive in this world. And but one of my favorite sayings or something I say is Rome wasn't built in a day and Google started in the garage. So uh, things got to start from somewhere because at the end of the day, everybody is not going to understand your vision on what you got for yourself, what you see in yourself. And as long as you got that constant heartbeat, um, for whatever you're trying to get into, as long as you got that constant idea in your head, what you see for yourself uh, is if you see something blossoming, you see a little plant that's gonna grow into this huge thing of crops. I'm using as a figure of speech for as an example, whatever your business or your venture you got going on. It might start small. It's got to start small, start from somewhere. This little plant, this little seed has to start from somewhere, but it can grow into something large and vast. And it can, and it will if you really believe it. And don't let nobody negative get in your way. And at the end of on the real, even your closest people, if they don't believe in you, you know for yourself, you believe in your heart this is gonna work. You got to just cut that shit off. We got to cut them people off. We don't need people around us to, especially right now. We don't need no negative people around us. But then on the real, we got to cut them people off quick. Like if you're not gonna be down for me, I want honest feedback saying what not work, what doesn't work. Um, if you got somebody that's gonna give you good ideas, so let's say for example, like okay, what you doing? This is not a good way to do this. but they got a better way to do so. Don't just down somebody's shit and say, "Oh, this is garbage," and just say, "No, you need to cut that out." No, that don't help nobody at the end of the day. If you think something don't work, at least provide some creative feedback, saying like, "Okay, this now I don't think this is gonna work. They can do this." You don't necessarily have to take their advice, but at least that type of person is saying they really showing okay, they really want you to progress. They're not just feeding you bullshit because they looking at you as somebody who's gonna do better than them. That's whack. If you one of them people, I don't want to be around you. If you one of the people that's gonna down me or secretly got an agenda, you need to cut them people off. But there's a difference. It's a fine line between somebody that's gonna really help you and be honest with you. You don't need no yes men or woman around us. Um, Somebody that's gonna really ride for you and keep it going. That's who we really need around us, especially right now. But it takes time, it takes patience, and the real people gonna know that. And sometimes it might be times where you might have to not talk to nobody for a while. People might saying like, "Oh, you switched up." No, you ain't switched up. You just really trying to work on yourself, better yourself, or doing everything you can to get into whatever your dreams is. And that requires a lot of time. I know it takes a lot of your time. I'm, I'm a business owner myself. Doing this weekly podcast, so I know it requires a lot of your time, and you ain't got time for people like that. Um, but I also have my stress reliever too, because things can get real hectic and stressful. That's why I got my Xbox. That relieves a lot of stress when I'm frustrated. But when I'm cut off for that, get right back to business. That's what we got to do. Just find out if you get stressed out, get yourself a stress reliever. Maybe that's working out, which I also a good stress reliever for me too. Um, but yeah, I think it's a balance, right? Because you're not. Let's be real. We can't. No matter how well you hide it, um, none of us are the same emotional kill at this all times. We all gonna go through these different emotions. That's a part of our human body, how we were all made, and it's gonna be rough times. And I'm just please be patient, y'all. We gonna get through it, and we all want to get through this bullshit. And some people cool sitting in the crib, like hey, people just cool with doing things virtually, reading books all day. That's good for the mind. Because knowledge truly is power. The more you know, the more I think you can accomplish and get done in this world, because you might know a lot that can either help somebody else and really get things done in society. So knowledge really is power. I think that's important. So, but yeah. So this thing I want to get into real quick is if you haven't heard, been under a rock, because I've seen this everywhere. Is Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson got back in the ring this past Saturday. It's crazy. A lot of us, I didn't even believe this shit was real. Even when I heard it was gonna happen, I still didn't believe it was gonna actually happen until they got in the ring. Him, Mike Tyson, and Roy Jones Jr. Um, these two men are back up in their 50s. Um, but these two men are up in their 50s and they way past their prime. Thing is though, not the first fighters to fight well in their 50s. George Foreman actually did it. So salute. But George, the only difference is George Foreman wasn't fighting an exhibition match. He was actually still fighting for a title. So well late into his career. But yes, it was a good event though. Like it was actually really entertaining. Uh, and there was actually some good undercard matches that were good. I don't know if those guys are going to be pro. Any of those guys are going to be pro, or actually try and get into pro fighting so they can actually get a chance at the title. And things like that. But I don't know. It's just some good exhibition fights. The one standout fight, obviously, that a lot of people talking to, and I almost feel bad for Nate Robinson. Uh, you don't know what I'm talking about? It's a fight between, most of you probably do know what I'm talking about. A fight between Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. Oh, man, that. Damn, Nate. That's all I can say. This is supposed to be for the culture. And people are clowning him real bad right now. It's bad because if you saw that fight, I watched the whole thing. Um, it was bad. Jake Paul beat his ass. He did. Well, as a black man, I mean, let's be real. I don't like seeing a black dude get beat down by a white dude. Be real. I don't like seeing that. Especially our history in this country. Um, racist history of this country. I definitely don't like seeing a white boy whooping no black dude. I don't like it. But it 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 was entertaining, which I thought it was going to be. And I think Jake Paul before the fight said he was gonna bounce Nate Robinson's head around the ring like a basketball. And man, he stayed true to his word. I mean, and I know Jake Paul. He's a big time social media star. He's all over. He's been in Disney stuff. Um, no, he's an actual fighter though. So kudos to him. I'm not saying white boys can't fight. I'm not saying that at all. But yeah, the way he went down like that, I mean, talking about he gonna do this for Nate Robinson, talking about do this for the culture, and I don't know who trained him, but it was real bad. Like whoever trained him didn't teach him no defense. Like he was just going in head first, just trying to attack wild. And when you get in a boxing ring, there's no way in hell you're gonna win a fight like that. Shit, you can't even do that in the street. A street fight, you gonna get your ass laid out, and that's exactly what happened. Um, so yeah, I don't know who trained him. He should have called up Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if Floyd would have charged him to do it, but he should have called somebody that's going to teach you. Why not call the champ, the guy who's known as probably the greatest defensive fighter of all time? You should have called Floyd to teach him how to counterattack. And yeah, it was real bad. It was it was horrible watching. Like, why is this dude diving in there like that? But let's also be real about something else too, because there's not just one side to this coin. One thing to point out too is, and I know everybody clowning. I see the memes everywhere online about they even put an NBA logo of Nate Robinson laid out, knocked out on the ground, saying never box again. Um, it's yeah, but it's but let's be real about something. I mean, a lot of y'all clowning Nate Robinson, so it's like I said, two sides to every coin. It's just not black and white. It's a gray area. But a lot of y'all that's clowning him, let's be real. Would y'all really step in that boxing ring? At least he's not a fighter, known to be a fighter anyway. I don't know what he did on the street or whatever, but he's known to be an NBA star. He's been in the NFL for a little bit, but real athletic dude. But obviously, we saw not a boxer, but he stepped out of his element to do something different, and he had the courage to do that. Despite whatever y'all may think, that takes courage to do that. Or millions of people watching you get knocked out, like that took guts to do that. And on the real, how many of y'all would actually say, y'all, if y'all got the opportunity to do that, would you actually have done it? That's the key. Um, so don't just be clowning him for nothing. Because how many of y'all would have actually gotten the ring to fight Jake Paul? Because and it's it's easier said than done. And you might think you got a game plan. That's why when Mike Tyson, on his best quotes, everybody got a plan till they get punched in the face. And that's a fact. Nate Robinson thought he had a plan. He got punched in the face and got his ass laid out. Um, but yeah, that was the standout fight of the evening. Wasn't a very long fight. I think it was the second round he got knocked out. Um, I think they called it a technical knockout, but no, that was a knockout. That was just a KO. That was not a TKO. That was a KO. He got his ass knocked the fuck out. But yeah, it was bad. But the main event, Tyson and Roy Jones, it was entertaining for a while. There's a lot of holding. Um, Mike Tyson actually looked, in I'm not gonna say peak form, but he looked like pretty close to young Tyson almost. It looked like he was going easy on Roy Jones because Roy Jones was gassed after the first round. But in between rounds, Roy Jones, I only saw him sitting down. He was exhausted, and it showed. Like it was, yeah. I think if you really look at it, Tyson did a lot of body shots. He took a few. He hit him a few times in the head, but I think Tyson, if you really looked at it, Tyson probably could have knocked him out. Now I see why people were saying, like, man, Tyson gonna kill this dude. Um, Even though Roy Jones was in the ring more prior to this exhibition match, he was in the ring professionally back in 2018. This is his last fight before he actually retired. So he was in the ring fairly recently. Whereas Mike Tyson hasn't been in a boxing ring in 15 years. His last fight was in 2005, and he quit in that fight. He didn't even finish the fight. He quit in between rounds. Like he said, he lost the love of boxing. He didn't love it anymore, and it sounds like he developed a new type of love for boxing. Not, and if you saw the post game interview between them, they asked him Tyson if he was gonna think about going pro again, and he said no. This is bigger than that. He wants to do it to help people, to charity. And he said he didn't get a dime for this fight. So that's commendable too. He's Mike Tyson using his platform to help people, and that's a beautiful thing. Crazy dude. I did an impression of him before the fight. If you haven't listened to it, you should. No knock to Tyson because I love and respect you. But yeah, I've been doing Mike Tyson impression for a little while. But yeah, I posted on YouTube, and if you haven't listened to it, you should. It's funny. But yeah, that fight was good. That event entertaining, was good. And the standout, I think, of that event was Snoop Dogg. His commentary was great. It was hilarious. And Snoop Dogg turns everything into gold. Any platform Snoop Dogg is on is automatically gets 10 points higher. So Snoop Dogg should just be on anything. Yeah. He can't be everywhere at the same time, but you just notice like anytime Snoop Dogg is on something, it automatically makes it better. So, but yeah, his commentary was great, and I would love to see him do more. I would love to see Snoop do some pro fights. I don't know if he would, because I'm sure Snoop is a busy dude. He got a lot of things going on, but yeah, that would be dope. Um, Much kudos to Snoop and uh, the guy from the UFC. Everybody who commentated was great. But Snoop Dogg was a standout. I think I take away from that is Snoop Dogg's commentary and the Jake Paul Nate Robinson fight to knockout. But like, we gotta stop clowning Nate like that. I mean, man, I hope that brother got a strong will. Because people be going crazy on the social media, and he did what he had to do. It's unfortunate the outcome, but best wishes to that brother, and just keep your head up, man. I'm sure he will. Hopefully, he does. Real quick, last thing I want to get into is my favorite show is back. Great show, Power, the sequel of Power Book 2. That's coming back this Sunday. The final 5 episodes of this first season. They already renewed it for a second season, and I'm looking forward to it. It seemed like a super long hiatus And that's probably due to COVID, or it could be just for to build the suspense up, which they could have done. They did that with the last season of Power. But yeah, I can't wait to see it. Um, I think you guys should check it out on Stars. It's a great show, and I love it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be great to find out the outcome between Tariq, his mom Tasha. Like, is she gonna get out prison? Find out what's the outcome of the lawyers. The drug game, like, it's gonna be real intense, I think, and I can't wait to find out. Um, so yeah, whoever's listening out there, appreciate you for listening. We back in here as always, and remain humble, remain patient. That's the key here. Rome wasn't built in a day, and Google started in the garage. That's all I got to say. So yeah, appreciate you for joining me. This has been another episode of What's the Word with LJ Mental Podcast. I'm out.